Mr. Wonderful, that is not a problem. Huh? What are we friends for? Huh? My boys are ever ready to deal with these guys. But
I'm not trying you. So you won't go carry 10 million naira, give kidnappers like that? No be so now. I don't explain to you now.
Okaila, I don't explain to you. No be so it didn't happen. No, you're supposed to understand.
Hey, you know now.
Back home, I know, but no wahala.
Okay. Hey, this kidnappers.
That's why the car is coming down. They are about to transfer them to the state CID. That's them.
So like you never business she tell they do. How did I go tell my mama? She tell Allah.
You see? You see why it is good for you to ask questions. All those expensive lifestyle that your cousin was living. So now kidnapping money in the take do all those kind of things.
I talk now. Make person they find money. You find money. You find money. You want buy new house. You want live luxurious lifestyle. You want find woman. You want buy new car. You see now? Police don't catch her now. You don't have trouble.
So tell him, mama. What I tell my mama?
It's okay.
So when they go say the tell us to my cousin, but I don't carry her.
Nothing will fit do for them again. Police don't catch her. You don't finish. Musa and Co will do their work.
No.
It's okay. Musa, well done.
Okay. If not, you would have been arrested among these criminals.
Mr. Wonderful. Wonder. His name is Mr. Wonderful. Wonder. His name is Mr. Wonderful. Not taxi, him they drive. If not travel, him go ride. If not fish, him go give. That's the way he survives. He is Batman, he is Robin. Has answers to every problem. Many problems out there. Charity they say is that see him they try. If not trouble, him go by. If not peace, him go give. What a way to survive.
The way you can watch NTAi International live on your TV, computer, iPad, tablet, and phone. Log on to visiontv.co.uk and click on Entertainment, then NTAi. You can also download the iOS or Android app on your mobile devices to watch NTAi International on the go, anywhere in the world. NTAi International, your window to the world.
We formed the APC from day one with the intention of changing the direction of Nigeria. We believe Nigeria is an African power and can be a major powerhouse in world affairs. But to do that, we need to change our direction.
It can be done. This country cannot be written off. It can be done. And this country will still lead Africa. We're making steps, slow steps, moving on. I mean, it took the Americans 200 plus years to get where they are. We're moving.
I am Elizabeth Abai. I am here to talk about facts. There is so much misinformation and distortion out there, especially on the social media. All it takes is just a click and the fake news goes viral. However, here on NTAi, we deal with facts.
My job is to go out there and comb for factual news and information just the way it is, all in the interest of the nation. I'm Najaa Tutijani.
Here on the NTA, we present only the facts, verified. Beware of fake news, don't be a victim. Stay tuned to the NTA.
Especially at this time of the coronavirus pandemic.
My name is Nnamdi Ojipo.
Hello there. Thank you for joining us on the news on NTA International, reaching you live from Abuja. My name is Obiageli Ugoke, and Bukumi Adejimo is our sign language interpreter for today. We begin with the headlines. Excitement trails release of abducted Zamfara secondary school girls. President Buhari summons security chief demands solution to national security challenges. Nigerian government takes delivery of first batch of Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine in Oslo against COVID-19. We begin with the release of Zamfara students. The anxiety resulting from the recent abduction of students of Government Girls Science Secondary School, Jangebe, in Zamfara State is now over, as all the abductees have eventually regained their freedom. They were formally received this morning by Governor Bello Muhammad at Government House, Gusau. Jamila Ibrahim has more.
Full of joy and happiness for seeing the safe returns of these my children.
It was indeed a joyous moment for government and people of Zamfara State as the students of Government Girls Science Secondary School, Jangebe, abducted Friday last week, regained their freedom. The girls were joyfully received this morning by Zamfara State Governor Bello Muhammad alongside his wife Aisha Bello, heads of security agencies and some other officials at Government House Gusau. The governor said the girls were released late yesterday following a combined effort of security agencies, stressing that no ransom was paid to secure their release.
The numbers who were kidnapped is 279 and no one was missing. All of the 279 are present here. This is how God worked for us.
He charged the young girls to consider the incident as something destined by Allah and should never discourage them to continue with their education pursuit.
We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this will be the first and the last, not just for the president, but for the whole country, Nigeria.
One of the released captives who narrated their ordeals while in captivity said they had nearly given up.
It was a terrible experience indeed. We trekked barefooted for many hours into the bush. Some of us fainted along the way, and they carried them on their back. We were exposed to all sorts of torture. In fact, they even threatened to kill all of us. We cannot thank the Almighty Allah as well as the government enough for regaining our freedom.
Though most of the released teenagers look calm, some of them are battling with ailments and trauma resulting from the long hours of tracking and torture they were exposed to while in captivity. The anxiety that hitherto engulfed people in the state over the sad incident is now over, as families of the released girls trooped to Government House Gusau to have a glimpse of the children.
Aisha,
And that's all we can take on the news. We'll now go to Zamfara State for our live broadcast. Thank you.
وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد اللهم إنا نسألك الهدى والتقى والعفاف والغنى اللهم إنا نسألك الخير والأمن والسلامة في ولاية زنفر خاصة وفي شمال نيجيريا عامة وسائر بلاد المسلمين يا رب العالمين يا الله كسنع الخير دا البركة أشكي وانا تارو الله كسا عيش لاهية أقارش لاهية waɗannan manyan baƙi da suka zo wannan ziyara kamar yadda suka zo lahiya Allah mai da su gida lahiya abin da ya faru wanda ya tada hankula ya Allah kada ka sake ganin wannan ya faru a Zamfara da Najeriya gaba ɗaya waɗanda ke irin waɗanda miyagun ayyuka muna roƙonka ya Allah ka shiryar da su ya Allah ka ganar da su ya Allah ka raba su da waɗannan miyagun ayyuka finally your excellency congratulations may Allah reward you abundantly.
From Zamfara State Government House, where the governors' forums are here to rejoice with the governor over the release of the 279 kidnapped girls of Government Secondary School, Jengibi. Now, the governors' forum is led by its chairman, Dr. Kayode Fayemi, Executive Governor of Ekiti State, accompanied with the Governor of Kebbi, Bakra Bagudu, and that of Sokoto State.
Government Girls Secondary School Jengibi here in Zamfara State. And as our last 3 to 4 days, His Excellency didn't sleep and other critical stakeholders in order to find means of rescuing these children. I'm happy to inform you that His Excellency for making this concerted effort. The early morning, these children were released in the government house. At this hall, His Excellency receives them in company of the critical stakeholders. And presently, these children are here in the government house for their counseling of their education, health, and other issues before they soon be released to their parents. So this morning, Your Excellency, I now have the singular honor and privilege to invite the chairman of the Nigerian Governors Forum, His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Ekiti State, Dr. Kayode Fayemi, in order to deliver his remarks. Your Excellency, you are most welcome.
Your Excellency, the Governor of Zamfara State, my brother, Governor Maswale, Your Excellency, the Governor of Kebbi State, Governor Atiku Bagudu, Your Excellency, the Governor of, the Deputy Governor of Sokoto State, representing the Vice Chairman of the Governors Forum and the Governor of Sokoto State, Right Honorable Aminu Tamboa, Excellency the Deputy Governor of Zamfara State, the Honorable Chief Judge, members of the State Executive Council, the Right Honorable Speaker and member of the State House of Assembly, the SSG, Chief of Staff to the Governor, our royal fathers here present, particularly the Emir of Gusau, distinguished personalities here, security chiefs, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Your Excellency, I was just looking at my time and I was going to crave your indulgence, knowing that this time it's the time for Maghrib prayers, that maybe it would have been appropriate to allow our leaders to pray first and then for us to return here and properly congratulate you for the release of our children that have just come. If it is not too much to ask. I think that's what would be appropriate. Yes. Thank you very much. Yeah.
And I now invite His Excellency, the Governor of Zamfara State.
No, just to announce that we should go and pray so that we should come back.
Okay.
That's good to have a good leader.
Okay.
And the people of the state over the release of the adopted girls of Government Girls Secondary School Jangebi, numbering to 279, who regained their freedom this morning.
Suka fara magana sannan sai gwamna ya responded.
Shi bai responded ba kawai ya sa ya tashi kawai. Ila ya gaji da magana ne.
That was the visit of the Nigeria's Governors Forum there. We now continue with our news. Welcome back. Governor Bello Muhammad of Zamfara State said the abducted girls were released lately on Monday following a combined efforts of security agencies and the repentant bandits. He said the actual number of the abducted has now been confirmed to be 279 and not 317 as earlier reported.
We are taking them down now, they have eaten. All of them, they have eaten. Some of them even they take 2 times because some of them are very hungry. So they eat very well. And we are now taking them to go and rest with the medical teams so that they should be seeing them in their own apartment. So if they see them and examine them and making sure that they are fit to go anywhere, then we can release them back to their respective families.
I feel very happy and very elated. I'm very sure that everyone, every mother today in the state is happy to see that these children are back and they look safe. Alhamdulillah, that is all that I can say. We thank God.
In the meantime, President Buhari has expressed overwhelming joy over release of abducted female students in Zamfara State. Reacting to the development in a press release, the president said he was excited that their ordeal came to a happy end without any incident, adding that captivity was an agonizing experience, not only for the victims, but also their families and all. The president, however, called for greater vigilance by the people so that human intelligence could be collected early enough to halt the bandits' plans. He warned that the time had come to reverse completely the grim and heartbreaking incidents of kidnapping and urged the police and the military to go after the kidnappers and bring them to justice. And the All Progressives Congress has expressed joy over the release of students who were abducted from government's secondary school, Jamgebe of Zamfara State. A statement by its National Secretary, Caretaker and Extraordinary Convention Planning Committee, the party rejoices with family members and loved ones over the safe return of the schoolgirls, while commending all stakeholders for their selfless roles in securing the release of the schoolgirls. The APC restates President Buhari's directive to subnational entities to provide adequate security in all schools within their areas of responsibility, and urged security services to unmark the criminal sponsors and enemies of Nigeria behind the wave of targeted attacks on educational institutions in the country. And on effort to secure schools, Governor Abdullahi Sule of Nasarawa State has given marching orders to security agencies to immediately secure schools across the state. The directive was handed down at an expanded emergency security meeting in Lafia. Aliyu Tijani Mohammed reports.
Recent cases of student abductions and farmer herders crisis in part of the country were what prompted the security meeting presided by Governor Abdullahi Sule. Council observed the influx of more herders into the state as a result of crisis in Oyo State and other southern parts of the country. It also noticed that the insurgents that were recently dislodged into the local government area are being regrouped in other locations and called on security agencies to step up surveillance and patrols. On the Safe School initiative, government tasked security agencies to provide security for schools as communities have been encouraged to complement in ensuring schools are secured.
We have also seen what is happening with school children, and I strongly believe from what we have seen and heard, I think in Nasarawa State we have to be serious about taking proactive measures so that such situations do not come to us, and we pray that do not come to Nigeria as a whole.
Council also commended President Muhammadu Buhari for the deployment of more detachment of security personnel to the state, which has improved security situation in the state, while calling on people in the state to be vigilant and provide useful information to security agencies. Government restated its commitment to the protection of lives and property of all citizens in the state. In Lafia, Aliu Tijani Mohammed, NTAi News.
In a related development, more proactive, decisive and robust plan of action have been unfolded by the National Security Council towards restoring security and stability across Nigeria, as well as nipping in the bud potential threats to peace and prosperity. Already, President Muhammadu Buhari has ordered the nation's military and intelligence community to trail, fish out and bring to justice all those directly or indirectly engaged in perpetrating acts of crime and criminality across the country, no matter how highly placed. The National Security Advisor, Babagana Munguno, who conveyed the President's directive to newsmen after an extraordinary meeting of the National Security Council, said Nigeria will not be allowed to drift into state failure. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo has the details.
This is the first meeting of the National Security Council since the nation's security architecture was rejigged with the appointment of new service chiefs for the armed forces. President Muhammadu Buhari, who summoned the crucial meeting, is worried that the level of security in the country is cascading for the worst, a situation he described as unacceptable. The meeting, which lasted more than 4 hours, discussed extensively the predominant issues of terrorism and insurgency, banditry, farmers-herders conflicts, and indeed kidnapping, with Jangebe school girls in Zamfara State as the latest victims.
Now, His Excellency the President has approved, based on our recommendation, the imposition and enforcement of a ban on all mining activities in Zamfara State with immediate effect until further notice. He has directed the Honorable Minister of Defense and the National Security Advisor to deploy massive military and intelligence assets to restore normalcy to that part of the country. He has also approved that Zamfara State be declared a no-fly zone with immediate effect.
Consequently, all non-state actors responsible for acts undermining national security and stability across Nigeria have been placed under surveillance by the intelligence agencies following reports of collusion by people from all walks of life.
Any individual who thinks he has any support and who thinks he can undermine this government will have himself to blame at the end of the day. Already the President has given directives to the military and the intelligence organizations to trail and flush out all the people that have been on our watch list. And I can assure you there's quite a handful of people on our watch list. They will be trailed, they will be rooted out, and they will be brought to book, they will be prosecuted, and they will be made an example of. And anybody who wants to use this situation to blackmail the government should have a rethink.
The National Security Advisor maintains that the federal government is not averse to the application of non-kinetic means of addressing the prevailing challenges of security. He was, however, quick to add that the Buhari administration will neither tolerate nor allow any individual or group bring down the country to its knees and put the citizenry in a state of panic, fear, apprehension, and mistrust.
The federal government will not hesitate to apply to the fullest its kinetic means to restore normalcy to the country. We will not allow this country to drift into state failure. And with effect from today, the new service chiefs have been given directives to reclaim all areas that have been dominated by bandits, by kidnappers, and other scoundrels and scallywags. I have also asked all the intelligence agencies to collapse all their efforts onto one platform so that with the convergence of effort, we would be able to give the required intelligence to the operational elements of government.
The National Security Council strongly warned that Nigerians, assuming the status beyond what they should be and using religion or otherwise to stoke the flames of disorder in Nigeria, will have themselves to blame.
The government is very, very serious about this.
From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTAi News.
You're watching the news on NTAi International. Time now to take a short break. We shall be back with more stories in just a moment.
Experience unlimited super-fast internet access from NTAi 4G. NTAi. Live more.
Glad to have you back. Let's talk health now. The federal government of Nigeria has taken delivery of 3,924,000 doses of Oxford AstraZeneca vaccines against COVID-19 from the COVAX facility. Kenneth Nanim reports that the Secretary to the Government of the Federation and Chairman PTF, Boss Mustafa, received the consignments on behalf of the federal government and through the Ministry of Health handed them over to the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency for onward certification by NAFDAC.
The waiting is over. Nigeria now has 3,924,000 doses of COVID-19 vaccines from the COVAX facility. On hand to receive the vaccines are members of the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19, led by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa.
These vaccines are safe, they are very effective and efficacious, and that I would urge at the time of vaccination and deployment, if you fall into the category that will be vaccinated, make yourself available.
Ministers, international partners, and other stakeholders acknowledged the effective leadership of President Muhammadu Buhari to contain the pandemic and pledged commitment to the global fight against coronavirus.
These vaccines now being administered to our citizens is really going to go a long way in cushioning even the humanitarian challenges that we are facing.
Media in particular, you have responsibility to let people know that they should come out and be vaccinated.
The National Primary Healthcare Development Agency and NAFDAC, two agencies that will play a significant role in the administration of the vaccines, pledged prompt action to enable commencement of vaccination.
We have to continue our surveillance, our lab, infection prevention and control, because we understand that it will take time to get all Nigerians vaccinated.
Once it gets to the warehouse, we're going to sample to be sure that what is coming from India is of quality.
The PTF is telling Nigerians not to be carried away by these achievements, but to also continue to adhere to the non-pharmaceutical protocols stipulated by PTF to ensure that Nigeria contains the spread of coronavirus. Kenneth Nanim, NTAi News.
Thank you, Kenneth. In the studio to speak on the newly arrived AstraZeneca vaccines in Nigeria is the public health physician, Dr. Chijioke Kajuru. Dr. Chijioke, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Abi.
How do you see the arrival of the first batch of vaccines in Nigeria?
Well, today is a good day for Nigeria and for Nigerians. And what we have seen today is evidence of great partnership, evidence of leadership, evidence of multi-sectoral collaboration and of global solidarity. And it really just heralds the beginning of the end of this pandemic. We know that this pandemic has wreaked havoc on millions of lives, and this is a unique opportunity for Nigeria that has now arrived for us to start to get to the end of this really difficult journey that we've all faced over the last 1 year.
What's your take on that level of awareness of Nigerian masses towards the acceptability of these vaccines?
So, I mean, all of the recent data that we have seen has shown that a significant proportion of Nigerians have heard about the vaccines. And what is important is that the vaccines are safe, they're effective, and they are our gateway to returning to normal. Of course, efforts must continue to sensitize Nigerians, engage with them at community level, leverage the mass media and every platform to make sure that people are, sensitized about the vaccines. But look, it's a good day for Nigeria. We have the vaccines now, and the journey towards ending the pandemic is finally here for all of us.
Some Nigerians argue that 4 million doses of the vaccines in comparison to nearly 200 million population is like a drop in the ocean. What's your opinion?
So look, we've seen that there are challenges globally with manufacturing vaccines. There's the COVAX facility that is providing a platform for countries like Nigeria to be able to quickly access some vaccines. But we have to focus on what's really positive and the good story here, right? The National Primary Healthcare Development Agency presented their national strategy to all of us yesterday, telling us about how they would make sure that Nigerians can access the vaccines that they need. And it's important for us to recognize that there's a country action plan that works, that looks good, that will help us make sure that all the Nigerians that need these vaccines can get them. So I think that the clarion call for all Nigerians is that as soon as it is your turn and you're eligible for the vaccines, we have to go out there and get the vaccine so that we can end this pandemic and begin to return to, as near normal as is possible for all of us.
Thank you very much once more, Doctor, for coming on NTAi International. We really do appreciate you.
Thank you, Abi.
And that was Dr. Duro Chijioke, a public health physician. Away from that, the Information and Culture Minister and Chairman DSO Ministerial Task Force Team, Lai Mohammed, says only rich content can successfully drive digitization process. The minister stated this at the inaugural meeting of the task force in Abuja. Anthony Fossen reports.
Pointing out that the task force cannot afford to fail ahead of the impending massive rollout across the country, the minister was emphatic about taking the issue of content serious.
The purchase of the set-top boxes by Nigerians will depend on the richness of the content offered. Before now, we either gave out the boxes free or at subsidized rates. But now that the project is being commercially driven, the sale of STBs will depend on the content.
He was particular about sports, entertainment, movies, news, both local and foreign, as well as children's programs, which are indispensable. The minister equally noted that looking inwards will help developing the Nigerian brand.
We must also tap into the great opportunity offered by this project to help popularize the local football league. We can work with the Nigerian Professional Football League, the NPFL, to have their weekly matches shown live. I have no doubt that they will be willing to work with us in this regard.
While these are being worked on, the need for massive publicity for the project, he added, is desirable as millions of Nigerians are still unaware of the true essence of the DSO project and the opportunities therein. Already, the minister said the process of implementing the audience measurement scheme, a critical component of the success of the DSO project, will be kickstarted soon to guide all content owners and channels to be able to get commensurate benefits for their efforts. In Abuja, Anthony Fossen, NTAi News.
And that is all we have for you at this time. Always remember to connect with NTAi to stand against rape and rapists, to be a star. And with me here has been Bukomi Adejimo, our interpreter, and I am Obiageli Ugoke. Thank you for your time.
Day, 7 days a week. You can watch 8